Forgive my appearance, but I need to speak on this. Are you looking to change your life, to finally lose those unwanted pounds, to get to that goal weight, and you are struggling and you're looking for the answer? And I'm gonna say this to you. The answer you are looking for will not be found inside the gym. Working out is not going to be the initial answer to your weight loss. You wanna know what is? Stay tuned. Hey guys, sorry for the appearance. Look, I literally just came home from the gym. I was in there for like 2 hours. It was a rough gym day today, but nonetheless, I showed up, showed out, and I'm happy it's over. Let's just normalize that not every day, every workout is gonna be like an Instagram, like, yes, I just look right. You know, like where you see those people and you're like, not every day's like that. Today was not one of those days, but I persevered. But anyways, I was in the gym and my mind's going and I'm thinking about like weight loss and like how I've gotten from where I started with my coach in June, so 12 weeks. How did I transform my body? How did I get from where I was to where I am now in these 12 weeks? What is the answer to your weight loss troubles? And I got it. Are you ready? A lot of people are gonna say, oh, it's gonna be the gym, it's gonna be working out, it's gonna be a regimen, and I don't believe so. No, I'm gonna say this. I'm not a personal trainer, a dietitian, a physical trainer. I'm not any of those things. I'm just a lifelong heavy person who's finally got their crap together. So what was the moment that the switch went on? It was my eating. It is your diet. If you want to call it a diet or not, whatever you are consuming, how you are eating is going to be your key to ultimate weight loss. That's the problem. You guys can be, look, I have been in the gym. I'm going to show you where I was, right? So I started with my coach in June. June 1st, was around the 1st. It was like the Wednesday after Memorial Day because I was sick. So the Wednesday after Memorial Day was like the first or second week of June. I really started working out with my coach. So it's been initially about 12 weeks, okay? And I have seen the most progress with her than I have seen at all with, you know, working with some other people, with trying to do it on my own, trying to figure it out. And what do I owe that success to? Is my eating. My eating and figuring out what worked is what is key to success. Now, I know that not everybody has utilization of extra money to hire a coach, and I understand that, but I just made it a priority and I just set aside that money. You know, there's things that I don't do, you know, I don't get my nails done that often. I don't do like a lot of expensive things. I don't go out really. I don't go out to dinner. You know, I just kind of trim the fat in certain places because this was something that was a priority to me. So if you could do that, I suggest doing so and finding somebody who is a professional that can help you. But what it all comes down to is what you're putting in your mouth. You cannot outwork a bad diet. And I hear people, I see it, if you are in the gym, right, you're working out and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing all this cardio, I'm doing a little bit of weight work and I'm not seeing anything, I'm working my butt off, I'm exhausted, what gives? It's your eating. It's your eating. I literally have this conversation with my mother all the time. I'm in the gym, I'm working out, me and your aunt. It doesn't matter, and I think a lot of people have this idea that like you have to have this like designated like workout routine and then you'll see the results. That's not true. If you are really serious about focusing on this weight loss journey and what you have to do, you have to get your eating under control. And you have to, when I say you're eating, you have to figure out what works for you. I'm not saying to do something because you've seen so-and-so on TikTok and I'm so sorry, I don't know how to turn the ringer off on my watch. And my mom's calling. So sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. But if you're seeing so-and-so on TikTok and you're like, oh my God, and I'm going to use keto as an example because it is very popular because people tend to see rather quick results initially, right? Again, not bashing, I think keto is really great. If it works for you, that's great, stick with it. But again, just using it as an example. A lot of people will try to go to something along the lines of keto and they'll say, oh, all right, well, I want to lose 20 pounds. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do keto. I'm going to knock out these 20 pounds for this month. And then next month, once I hit my goal weight, it's going to be on. I'm going to, you know, or I'll hear people say like, oh man, once I hit my goal weight, I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna eat that, I cannot wait. You're not fixing anything. You're not fixing anything because you're using food as a punishment and a reward. Food is not a punishment nor a reward. You are not to treat yourself as such. You are not a dog and you don't get a treat when you've been good. And you're not, you know, you're not going to treat food as a form of punishment either. Like, oh my God, you know what? I ate a little extra yesterday, so today, no, I'm cutting out 2 meals. I'm only going to have 1 meal today. Everybody, the dog's barking, the mom's calling. You can't do that. You cannot do that because food, it's you have to eat. I'm sorry to break it to you. You gotta eat, okay? And if you're using food as a form of punishment or reward and you don't know how to break free from that cycle, and I say this all the time, I know you guys are probably nauseated by this, but therapy. There are counselors, there's therapists that help, because if you are using food in that manner, it's a sickness, it's a disorder, it's disordered eating. And I can say that with my whole chest because I too was a disordered eating person and I'm slowly recovering. I still have food issues. I still see, you know, I still panic a little bit. I still, you know, have this like thing in my mind, like, oh, it never goes away, especially if you've had, you know, years and years in this disordered eating where, you know, you're up and down on the weight, food is a form of reward or punishment, and you see it as an enemy. You never really form a comfortable relationship with that. This is something I'm trying to teach my children. I see comments, right? And they'll say, oh, are your daughter's on a meal plan? They'll make comments about my kids. I'm going to tell you right now. Make a comment about my kid, I want you to leave your address because I'm going to come find you. My kids are off limits. That's a lot of the reason why I don't really share my kids on here, because it's no one's business what my daughters do. Could I put my daughters on a diet and say, you are eating 3 meals a day, no chips, no this, no that? Yeah, I could. But I'm gonna tell you something. They did that to me. I remember I was 8 years old and my sister's pediatrician, Dr. Emery, I'll never forget him, told my mom I was a little fatty. That was his words. I was a little fatty and my mom needs to get me from in front of the TV and stop feeding me chips and to only let me have salads and boiled chicken breast. And my mom did it because that's what the doctor told her to do, because he told my mom like all these things. And I remember going out with like all my cousins and all of us were eating at a restaurant. It was Jedi Gardens. I mean, if you guys are from the area, and everybody was ordering, like my cousin ordered like this little pizza and my other cousins ordered like chicken nuggets, and my mom ordered me a grilled chicken breast on a bed of lettuce with lemon. And I remember crying in the bathroom because first off, I was embarrassed. Second off, I did not want to eat that. And all I did was binge afterwards. So I have my daughters learning these things, trying to make good relationships with food, teaching them about portion control and teaching them that food is not an enemy, but is also not a reward and is not a punishment. And nobody did that for me. I didn't come from that era, but I want to give that to my kids. And I want it to be learned. So when I see a lot of people, you know, where they're constantly changing up their eating, and this is, you know, people in my own personal life, you know, mostly my mother. We're going to use my mother because my mom's 60 years old and my mom's put on a little bit of weight. My mom's never had a diet and she struggles because she does not know how to eat because she was lucky. My mom was always thin, you know, and my mom smoked for years. My mom was like, you know, a Marlboro Red and a cup of coffee, and she was just thin, you know. So now she's quit smoking quite a few years ago, and COVID and all this stuff happened, and she's retired now. So she struggles with figuring out how to eat. So I have this conversation with my mom all the time. Okay, what do you want to eat? How do you want to eat? You know, she'll try to do like a low carb thing, you know, and she'll be like, I'm going to do low carb, and she'll make herself like 3 pounds of bacon, and she eats a ton of bacon, but then like she like turns around and she'll have like some chips or something like that. And I'm like, Mom, you can't do both. That's a surefire way of gaining a ton of weight. So the question is what's going to work for you? And I talked about this again ad nauseum, so this is kind of repetitive, but I feel like the point isn't making it across. You have to figure out a sustainable way to eat that is sustainable for you, to your liking, to your lifestyle. If you were thinking, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna nix out all carbs, right? and so I can lose this 10, 15 pounds because I have a wedding, but then, you know, you're just literally waiting for that scale to hit that number so you can like max on the carbs again, then you're just going to be right back where you are right now, probably with a little bit of extra weight than what you started or what you began this like whole routine with, right? So you have to look at it as a lifestyle. People will say to me, okay, well, you're not really learning anything because somebody made a meal plan for you. You could, and they'll say, what are your macros? I don't know what my macros are. What are your calories? I don't know what my calories are. But I can tell you this. If I decided to separate from my coach today, I can tell you that I know that this is roughly around the size of protein I should have. This is about the amount of carbs I can have. This is the amount of vegetables I can have per meal. I should eat this many meals, blah, 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 and I can continue it out. I've also learned by working with my coach that my body responds better to a lower protein and a higher carb approach. Is that for everybody? No. Some people react differently. Some people need a higher protein, lower carb. Each person is different. Now I will say this. I'm not looking at my glucose. I'm not looking at my insulin. I am not diabetic. I've never been diabetic. My A1C has always been perfection. My blood pressure, I'm actually on the lower side of normal where, you know, there's things, I have no pre-existing health conditions, okay? So I don't have there's a lot of reasons why people partake in certain ways of eating, because not only for the weight loss benefit, but for the overall health. For the sake of this video, I'm talking about just weight loss, okay? I'm not talking about if you are diabetic, if you have migraines, if you have osteoarthritis, if you have Hashimoto's, or whatever the case may be, okay? I'm just simply talking about you want to lose weight and keep it off and be healthy, okay? So you don't want to dive in on something because you've seen that it has quick results. Quick results will be a surefire way of having a quick weight gain on the way out. I can tell you this because I've done it all. I did the HGD, I've done them all, okay? So if you can find something that works for you and you really do your research, right? This is for you, it's for your health. This is something that you are going to invest in. Your health, if you're healthy, you're wealthy, honey. I don't care if you got $1 million in your bank, but your health is in the crapper, then you got nothing. Money can't buy you health. You can only invest into yourself. So take this time and invest. Take a few days. Don't just say like, oh my God, I talked to my bestie and my bestie said that she joined the new Weight Watchers program and she did, I think there's like different variations now. Don't quote me. I haven't looked into it for a long time, but she's doing the Points Plus program. So I'm going to do that one because she's doing really good on it. That may work for her, but that may not work for you. You may not like all the foods that are associated with that. You know, so you really have to take the time and invest into the research, not something that catches your attention on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube because you see so-and-so doing it. Some things, if you're doing it if you're not looking at the big picture of it, it's not going to work. And that's what it took for me. I tried a lot of things. Like I said, if you guys have been here with me for a while, and some of you guys have, thank you so much for sticking with me because I know I've been a little shaky, okay, to say the least. It was really, I've tried Weight Watchers. I had years ago when I got married, I did really, really well. Then I tried it again. I had zero success. I was like gaining and losing the same 10 pounds. I went back to keto. Really wasn't doing nothing. Keto worked for me until it didn't. It just wasn't for me. And I kept trying to make it work because I seen other people being so successful on it. And I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Let me follow their full day of eating because they're doing so good. For example, Felicia, is it Keitherly? She was one of the reasons why I jumped on Weight Watchers, and I was like, oh my God, she's doing so well. So if that's what she's doing, and then I was like I said, gaining, losing the same 10 pounds, I would study her videos and I literally would make all of her food and I would eat exactly how she would eat, and I lost nothing. Same thing with people who are, you know, keto. I followed a lot of keto accounts, a lot of major keto people, and I followed the same thing. And nothing was working. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I went and I got tests done. I was like, my God, is something wrong? I was convinced it was my thyroid. It wasn't working for me. I wasn't happy. It just wasn't a thing for me. But I had to figure out what was. And sometimes it takes trial and error, But before you rush yourself into the gym and do 3 hours of cardio a day and you're just not seeing the results, you have to focus on your eating. Now, I leave my information for my coach down below. I don't get any type of kickback. I've gotten so many emails like, oh, what is your discount? I don't get a discount. I can't give you a discount. I hired her for myself. I pay her the same amount that you guys pay her every month. That's just it. She is an investment towards me and myself. That is what I'm choosing to invest in my health with, and I have zero regrets. Now, I also want to say that I have a mindset of what I want my body to look like. People say, oh, do you want to be, I don't want to be skinny. I never wanted to be skinny. That's a bonus, but I wanted to get on stage and be in the wellness category. I was always made fun of for having such big legs growing up. They would pick on me, they would bully me, they used to have horrible nicknames for me when I was a kid, and now they have this whole category that's just dedicated to like the Thunder Thigh girls, you know, it's super muscular, and that's what I want to do. I want to show all my Thunder Thigh girls out there in the world that, hey, you know what? They talked all that stuff about us, they made all these names about us, but look, I'm gonna get my little thick legs on that stage and I'm gonna flex for them. That's eventually my goal. But also, I want to kind of state, I am nowhere mentally ready to go into prep. Prep is not healthy. It is not healthy. You can watch bodybuilders all over the world and they will tell you the same thing. You have to be mentally, physically, spiritually ready for prep because it will break you. The body dysmorphia, the hunger, the extreme limits on food, the extreme dieting, the excessive amounts of cardio, and then, you know, you get off prep and then you get a weight gain, and then it's a mental thing. I am not there yet. I can't do that to myself yet because my mental health won't survive it. I'm not ready. You know, I'm hoping I'll be ready at 40. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have to wait till I'm 45. I don't know, but I have a few years to figure it out. If you're following a way of eating that is mentally beating you down, mentally breaking you, mentally torturing you, that is not for you. If you find yourself hungry, you're starving. Now, let me tell you something. You're going to be a little hungry. I had to tell this to me and my kid was talking. Aren't you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. Some days I'm hungry. Yeah, I can always go for a little snack, okay? I obviously, if I had an appetite, I didn't get as big as I was without being hungry, but you got to listen, is it real hunger or is it boredom hunger? You know, it's a difference. There's a difference between like having a little like, yeah, I could snack, or being like, oh my God, my stomach is making noise, I'm starving, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. There's a difference. If you are that starving, honey, that is, you are not doing, the math ain't math and you are not doing something right. If you got a little like, I can feel a little snacky, then yeah. And here's the thing, guys, sometimes you're gonna have to say no to food. I know. I guess that you have to, there's this like, this uneven scale of like, you know, memories over macros and finding a proper balance. My kids' birthdays, I've been to holidays, and I've brought my own food, or they've ordered out to eat for parties, and you know, like when it was Rhea's birthday, they ordered food in and stuff, and we got our little cupcakes and stuff. I didn't have any. I didn't eat what they ordered. That's okay for me. I didn't mind. You know, I know some people that may be upsetting to you, but if you find that you are that emotionally attached to a meal and the way it makes you feel, again, therapy, counseling, that is hand in hand with disordered eating. And I never understood it until I got into therapy, and I was like, holy shit, I've been a mess for a really long time. Because I literally remember being on, and again, this is not against keto, but I remember being on keto and watching people have like a fruit salad and, or like having cakes or whatever, being out eating. And I literally remember like crying and being like, I just want to be, and I remember telling Leo, like, I just want to be skinny. I just want to hit this weight. I just want to be able to eat that stuff. And like, it had such a power over me. And I had to really work on myself. So before I think the gym, yes, you need to work out. You know, you need to have a good routine for working out. That is you know, really going to help you. But before you dive into anything crazy in the gym, really figure out how you want to eat, what you want to eat, what style of eating will work for you, what's attainable to your everyday life, in your budget, in your lifestyle, the way you like to eat, something that you can maintain and do for the long run. You know, whether that be, if you're like, hey, you know what, I'm really good at, like, I really like just having like meat. I'm not a really big vegetable eater. I'm not a fruit eater. Maybe carnivore is for you. Maybe you would really enjoy that. Or maybe you're like, hey, you know what, I'm a diabetic and I really got to stay away from the sweets. And, you know, I cannot work on that. It, you know, the artificial sweeteners cause me to be super inflamed. I just, you know, I could, you know, when I go out to eat or whatever, we always go to like a steakhouse. So it's real easy for me. Then maybe keto was for you. But maybe you're like, hey, you know what? I hate meat. I'm not a big meat eater. I'm actually a vegetarian. Maybe something along the lines of finding a meal plan. There's so many people who are educated out there. You know, you can, you know, look into hiring a coach, or maybe just seeing a dietitian or a nutritionist, somebody who has the skills and the know-how to get you where you want to be and to make you a realistic way of eating that is going to help you thrive on this journey. You want to thrive. This is not a punishment. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not bad because you have to lose weight. You're not an awful person. No one's scolding you and sending you to the corner and being like, no dinner for you, you know, because you want to lose weight. You're not in trouble. And I feel like that's what we always assumed, that if you wanted to lose weight, like you were, you know, all right, game's fun time's over. That's it. Punishment time. Get your ass in the house. You know, tell your friends you can't be on the phone, type of thing. You know, and it's not that. That's not that case. You know, you above all are doing the number one thing, and you're investing into yourself, into your health. For you could be here for you, yourself, your family, and you're really going to be a idol for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to find inspiration and motivation from you. People in your everyday life are going to be like, wow, Melanie did it. Look at how great Melanie is. She's so happy. She's so secure. She's so confident. Look at, she looks great. You could tell her skin's glowing. She's happy. That's what I want. Be the Melanie. I don't know who Melanie is. I just thought of that name, but you know what I mean? Be that person so you can inspire somebody in your everyday life. Because a lot of us, I want to say probably 90% of people I know have some form of a disordered eating, and we never knew it because it's learned. You know, don't leave the table until you clean your plate. You know, oh, you know, you would be so beautiful if you lost a little bit of weight. Oh, you're going out to dinner. The last thing my grandmother told me before she passed away, God rest her soul, she was sitting at the table and she was on the phone, and good old Dolores, and she was a little gossiper, and I had lost a lot of weight. Metabolife, you guys remember that? Didn't do it the healthy way, Metabolife all the way. And I was pretty thin, and I was going on a date, and she takes on the phone and she's like, you look, oh, Danielle looks so good. She finally lost all that weight. You're going out? I'm like, yeah, Grandma, I'm gonna go out to dinner. Have a salad. You don't want to pork up again. Right, Grandma? She looks great. And I was like, because my grandma came from a time where women are supposed to be thin and look attractive to get a suitor, you know? It wasn't because of anything else, you know? If you were fat, you were ugly. That was just what was, you know? Thank God that whole mindset has passed. But hopefully you guys found some inspiration and maybe some ideas, or maybe just a little bit of like the light bulb went off for you. Because I was working out and I just kept thinking about that, like, what has changed? My coach had sent me those pictures. You'll see it'll be the thumbnail. And I was looking at me, who I was in June, and I'm like, what has changed from these two women from then until now? And it was just nothing. I'm not punishing myself. I'm not restricting myself. I feel really good. And I want that for everyone. See you on the next one. Bye, friends. I gotta go take a shower. I'm nasty.